Good morning. I am here. You are here. You know what that means. It's the best day ever. It is. And we never know what that's really going to mean for us. For me, I like that phrase. I know I've been using it for a really long time, but I like that phrase because no matter what, there could be a lot of really challenging things going on in life, a lot of really challenging things going on probably to people in this room. And when I stand up here and say it's the best day ever, you may go, yeah, well, F you, like, yeah, right. But really, the gift of life is such a sacred and holy gift. The gift of having our own freedom is beyond what so many people in the world have. And if I'm not here thinking it's the best day ever, maybe I'm being pushed towards experiencing a better idea of what's possible for my life. And I have a choice. I have a choice every moment. Sometimes it's not pretty to be experiencing the challenges and the difficulties in the world, because there's a lot. And yet I still have a choice in every moment to refocus myself, to take a breath, to say, I'm here. And this moment is the most sacred and holy moment of all, because it's the moment I'm alive, and it's the moment that I'm at choice. Go enjoy the Young Mystics program. It's rockin' today. Don't look at me. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Last week I went to Sister Spirit. Where's my Sister Spirit sisters? Oh yeah. Who's been to Sister Spirit in the past? Come on. Oh yeah. Oh, John. In his head. So I really love Sister Spirit. It's a women's retreat that I facilitate every year, but it's something bigger and more powerful than I am. I have the opportunity to be leading it, and what I recognize is sometimes, as Susan was saying, sometimes there's a pull that pulls you somewhere and you don't know why. And for me, Sister Spirit is one of those things. It happened, I want to say it happened to me. It kind of happened through me too, but it happened to me, where I was at my desk one time at Stanford University. I used to work there. I worked there for 11 years. And I was sitting at my desk and I had this vision board, and it said, arrive as friends, leave as family, seaside retreat. And it had a woman and a little lake and all the stuff next to this vision board. And I'd been going to this really awesome retreat called Woman Spirit. And I heard a voice. I literally heard a voice. And the voice said, why don't you start a retreat like Woman Spirit for the women of South Bay, of Bay Area? And I thought, oh, that's the craziest idea I've ever heard. That's ridiculous. That is so out of left field. That could never happen. And then I thought, I must not have thought that idea, because that was the craziest thing I've ever heard, right? So I thought, well, why not? Why not try? Why not, what do I have to lose? If I try and I fail, I'm in the same place as if I didn't try. So why not try? So I did. I went ahead and I talked to the Leadership Council. I was attending San Jose Center at that time. And they were like, yes, do it. And I thought, that's crazy. What do you mean, yes, do it? And then I went and I put an advertisement in the bulletin for women who are interested in creating this retreat. And 18 women showed up. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? Wow. And so I just went with it, I just went with it, and it has been one of the most magical and most amazing things that have ever happened to me in my life. And I've been truly honored to have birthed this retreat. But it's not just the retreat that came about because of this. This center came about because of Sister Spirit. It was the women who served me originally, who birthed Sister Spirit, who helped birth this center as well. So you never know where life is taking you Whenever you go with that passion, you go with that excitement, then it's so important to just be in it. I had no idea. I was not planning on being a founding minister. By the way, it's not easy. It's not. I want to say it's the easiest thing I've ever done, but it really wasn't. And honestly, I went through ministerial school, and this Reverend Georgia Prescott, she taught this amazing class on starting your first ministry. And she was like, and then I did this, and then I walked door to door, and then I talked to the people in the neighborhood, and I was like, there's no way I am never, ever, ever, ever starting a center. This is ridiculous. And then there I go to Peru, and I get inspired to start a center. So. But it's because there's something happening, though. It's not just in me, it's happening in you. There's something that is happening that's a global awakening. Now, I want to tell you about our book of the month. It is The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible, which is a really long title for a book. And the weird thing is I looked at this on Goodreads, and I was like, oh, wow, it's got like 4.5 stars. And all these people were like, this book is the best book I've ever read in my entire life. And I thought, really? Wow, okay. So then I started reading it, and this is one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life, even though it has the really long title that it has. But it's interesting because he talks about this, and this is a lot of this is straight from the book. This is really interesting. I really want a different idea of this world. And yet here I am living in this world. Millions of people are starving. Nuclear weapons are rampant. Our rainforest is shrinking. And then here at centers like these, we talk about our word, the power of the word, the power of what your words create, right? We talk about our teaching symbol, which is over here. I'm walking very slowly. Very slowly. Gina's following me on video. Sometimes I walk too fast, apparently. This is our teaching symbol. And this circle here represents the infinite nature of God, or you could call it the infinite nature of the universe, or love, or spirit. If you don't like the word God, don't use that word. I like that word, but that doesn't matter. It's a word that resonates with me. What word resonates for you? For the great creator, the infinite thing that created all that is, right? Some people who are Christian or Catholic, they call the Trinity of the Spirit, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Well, you know what that is? The top part is the Father. The middle is the Holy Ghost. The bottom is the Son. What this represents here, this top part is the infinite nature of the divine. It is the stuff that's not physical, but is the first cause. It's the original idea. Every idea comes from this aspect of the divine. And then there's a experience where it goes into this process. We call this the soil, right? So there's an idea is planted into the soil. And then what happens? The soil nurtures it. Do we know how? No. So if I say my word is like an idea, my word is like a seed that gets planted into the soil of the infinite one. And then what happens here at this little bottom point, we call this the body or form. That's what I am. I am a body. I've come into form. And this is the macrocosm. That means everything, every planet, everything in the entire universe is the body of the infinite one. So you and I are bodies of the infinite one, right? We're in the body of the infinite one, and yet we're a microcosm of the macrocosm, which means, as in the Bible, it said, the word, this is from John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Basically, God stated its word. It had its idea. The word can also be idea, or your physical word that you're speaking. So God stated this word, and it became reality. As I am a microcosm of the macrocosm, I speak my words and they become reality. Do I know how? No, there's this little middle place we call the soil that nurtures and feeds and grows things. We don't know how it works. No idea. It's an aspect of the divine that's a mystery. It is. We do know that there's an infinite aspect. We pretty much get that. We know there's a physical aspect. Here I am. But the middle aspect, really confusing. But it works. So who cares how it works? It just does work. Okay, that's not going to stay there. So that's part of what we're talking about today, the word. If you're going to speak your word, what kind of words are you using? What if we said, in the beginning was a word, and the word was you, and the word was with you. Through you, all things were made. Without you, nothing was made that has been made. So I just replaced the word God with you. Because you are an aspect of the divine. You're a microcosm, just like the infinite is creating all of this. We have the opportunity to be a channel. We have the opportunity to create just like the infinite one creates. But we create it through an individualized expression, which is you. And yet we're all connected. We're all part of that infinite thing. It's kind of a paradox. Like, oh, wait, I'm one point of inspiration. Wait, I'm all that is. Very confusing. It's okay. Our brains can't understand it, but somewhere we do get it. Somehow. We understand the paradox because it's part of who we are. So on a cellular, on a spiritual level, all of us get that we're all connected. Interesting fact, abracadabra is actually a Hebrew phrase meaning I create what I speak. You see, the word is very powerful. It's very magical. It creates a vibration, an energetic charge. The vibration that comes out of my mouth, it never goes away. It goes on forever and ever and ever. There's things going on right now, vibrations. There's radio channels, right? Radio channels going on all simultaneously in this room. We cannot hear them because we're not tuned into them. But they're all happening at the same time. And my question is, what are you tuning into and what are you expressing as your word? What are you tuning into and what are you expressing as your word? You could be tuning into Negative News Network, or you could be tuning into the Good News Network, right? Depends. Where do you want to be? It's all happening at the same time. So whenever I talk about this, and I talk about how we have the ability to create, sometimes it doesn't make sense that there's so much stuff happening in the world. So much challenge and difficulty. When we're creating, right? Can't we change this? Can't we? Recently I've been saying a prayer about creating miracles in my life because I'm like, hey, miracles have to happen to somebody. Why don't they happen to me? Huh? I'm in. Hey, I want to feel like something miraculous is happening to me. So this year I go to Sister Spirit, and I always, whenever I go on retreat, I make this intention that like I'm radically transformed, just because it's really fun to do. And then when it happens, which it always does, then it's fun to be radically transformed. I love it. So I go on the retreat at Sister Spirit, and this really interesting thing happens. A lot of people, the first year we had Sister Spirit, we had this woman named Linda Webb Kakaba. How many of you have heard of her? Linda Webb Kakaba, a couple of people. So she was a New Thought musician, very, very well known. She was the music director in Santa Rosa for quite a while. She did a bunch of CDs. Great, great woman. She's raucous. She's totally my style, like way, way spiritual, but way inappropriate at the same time. Totally love her. And so the first year she came and she did Sister Spirit, and we loved her. And then she was going to be our musician the second year, and 2 months before Sister Spirit, she passed away. Yeah. So my mom and I bought this drum. Like, it's a grandmother drum. It's like this big. It's huge. If you haven't seen it, it's in our storage, but it's huge. And we decided to name it the Kakaba in honor of Linda Webb Kakaba. So here we are this year at Sister Spirit. It's our 9th year, and we're playing the Kakaba drum. And Linda Lundry, who's on my dream team, she comes to me and she says, people keep asking me about the story of the drum. And I said, oh, the story of the drum. Oh, that's right. 9th year, all these people, they may not know that we named the drum off of our first musician, Linda Webb Kakaba. Every year when we pray in, we always invite her to come hang with us and to just channel her like bright, wild, amazing, divine energy through us, and that she can have fun with us while she's not in the body anymore. She can just hang with us and shower us with all her love and joy. So I went ahead and I told everybody at Sister Spirit, I said, oh, look, this is the Kakaba drum, and we named it in honor of Linda Webb Kakaba. I had her picture on our ancestor altar, and she was there just to show us love in its purest form. And we honor her with this drum, and that's why we play it. We play the Kakaba. We honor her, her spirit, her love. It lives on in us, and we welcome her every time. So I tell this story. What I didn't know was later that day, Linda Lundry had a surprise for us. Now, her surprise was that a few months ago, she was walking on the beach and she wanted to do something special for the sisters at Sister Spirit. And Linda Lundry is a musician in San Jose. And so she's on the beach and she's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Usually she writes a song. And so she decides to get her laptop out. Now her laptop, she can't get any service because she's on the beach. So she just presses play to get some inspiration. Well, the very first year, Linda Webb Kakaba wrote a song called Journey of Discovery for the sisters at Sister Spirit, and then she gave us all CDs of that song. We're the only people who own this song. And for some reason, now Linda Lundry did not attend year one, but for some reason on her laptop, that song played. Now, she had never heard it before, and she didn't know how it got in her laptop, but she knew what it was. She totally knew what it was. She was like, this is the song. This is Linda Webb Kakaba's song that she wrote for us the first year, the Journey of Discovery song. So she decides that, because she's like, I don't know how it got on my computer, but I'm going to learn it. So she decides to learn it. And as a gift to all of us, she plays it that evening at our session for all of us. And she sang it just like Linda Webb Kakaba. Now, she didn't know that a bunch of people were going to ask her about the drum, and I didn't know that I was going to talk about the drum and about the story about Linda Webb Kakaba before she played this song. It was beautifully orchestrated. This is not stuff that you can plan. This is miraculous. How did she all of a sudden get the song on her laptop? How did she decide to play it? How come people asked about the drum so that I would tell everybody the whole history of the song before she was planning on playing it? I don't know. But that's miraculous. And so when I spoke my word about something miraculous happening, it happened to me. And it happened with 63 other witnesses. So I want you to think about the power of your word. Because we have a story. We've been telling ourselves a story. Your parents told you a story. It's about, who am I? Why do things happen? What is the purpose of life? What is human nature? What is sacred? Who are we as a people? Where did we come from? Where are we going? And we have this old story. It's what they call, Charles Eisenstein says in the book, he calls it the story of separation. You see, this is the old story. Who are you? You are a separate individual amongst other separate individuals in a universe that is separate from you as well. You are a flesh robot programmed by its genes to maximize reproductive self-interest. Why do things happen? Well, the impersonal forces of physics act upon generic materials substrate of fundamental particles. All phenomena are a result of these mathematically determined interactions. What is the purpose of life? Well, you see, the universe at the bottom is blind and dead. The only purpose of life is to simply live, survive, reproduce, and maximize rational self-interest. Since we are separate from each other, my self-interest is very likely to be at the expense of your self-interest. What is human nature? To protect ourselves from this hostile universe of competing individuals and impersonal forces, we must exercise as much control as possible. We seek anything that furthers that aim: money, status, security, information, and power. So what is sacred? Since the ruthless pursuit of self-interest is antisocial, we must overcome our biological programming and seek higher things. A holy person does not succumb to desires of the flesh. They talk the path of self-denial, of discipline. Remember, the sacred is otherworldly, and the soul is separate from the body, and God lives high above the earth. Does any of this resonate? Have you heard it on some level? Do you get it? It's there. It's there. It's been taught to us by very good meaning people. But it's our cultural story. It's what we thought reality was. Where have we come from and where are we going? Well, you see, we started as naked, ignorant animals. We were brutish, short-lived. But now that we have such big brains, we have ascended to become lords and possessors of nature, domesticating plants and animals, harnessing natural forces, conquering diseases. Our destiny is to complete this conquest, to free ourselves from labor, from diseases, and from death itself, to ascend to the stars and leave nature behind altogether. Okay, I know I'm being a little dramatic, but it is fun, yes. You know I like it. So the thing is, those aren't our answers anymore. They used to be our answers. They were taught. It was taught in science. It was taught in schools. It was taught by our religious teachers that we're separate. But we're writing our story. We're the ones who are speaking a new story into being. We're speaking a new story. And you see, as our cultural story changes, everything built on it changes. That's why you may get the feeling that the whole world is falling apart. Because it is. It has to fall apart to fall together. If your life is falling apart, it's because you're doing your work. It has to fall apart to fall together. I don't like it either. But it's what happens. It happens. And it's not a bad thing. It's part of the process. It means that things are changing. Even though we live in a time with school massacres, rampant obesity, indebtedness, unabated world hunger, environmental degradation. And we ask our question, is heightened security the best we can aspire to? These are all the questions in this book. He talks about this. This is exactly what he's talking about. Is it too much to ask to live in a world where our human gifts go toward the benefit of all? Where our daily activities contribute to the healing and the biosphere and the well-being of other people? What if we realize that self-interest can never exist independently of the interest of the other? What would happen if we realize that we're interconnected? What if our being partakes in the being of everyone and everyone else? Everything else. What if we're all interconnected? So let's write a new story. This is the story that he proposes in the book. I love this story because this is the story I talk about every week, because this is a story I bought into. And as I speak about it more and more, and as you speak about it more and more, things start shifting and changing in the world because we planted those seeds for them to manifest in our reality. Here's a new story, the story of interbeing. That my being partakes in your being. And that all beings partake in each other's beings. It goes beyond interdependency. Our very existence is relational upon each other. That what we do to each other, we do to ourselves. That each of us has a necessary and important gift to share in this world. Each of us. The purpose of our life is to express our gifts. That every act is significant and everything we do has an effect on the entire cosmos. That when you change your life, the lives of everybody changes. That we are fundamentally unseparated from each other, from the universe. We are connected to everybody and to the universe. Every person and every experience we have mirrors something inside ourselves. Humanity is meant to join fully the tribe of all life on earth, offering our uniquely human gifts. toward the well-being and development of the whole of the planet, the whole of the universe. That purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter, this, and the universe. Did you know that as I think a thought, I can change the matter in here? I can, on a subatomic particle level. Every thought that you think affects every subatomic particle around you. The more I study quantum physics, the more I realize we are in it big time with each other. So there's an old saying, you cannot change one thing without changing everything. What if I changed my mind? What if you changed the words that you speak to each other, to yourself? What if we changed our cultural story? I'm curious to see what would happen. I want to do it. And I keep doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it. You're going to keep hearing the same thing. I only got one talk. It's the same talk. But I'm here. And you are here. And we're here together. And it's all love. And I'm going to keep loving myself more and more, unfolding more and more of myself so that I can uncover the love that is you. So that you can uncover the love that is you. Yeah. I love you. Let's do this. Namaste.